Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a teaching about yellowed Zambala that, honestly, might just flip your whole idea of wealth and blessings on its head. It's a really profound look at what it means to truly prosper. So let's just start with this big universal question, right? What is true wealth? I mean, is it just about money in the bank? Good luck? Or is there something deeper? Let's keep that question front and center as we go through this.
All right, so lots of people look for a better life through spiritual practices. A great example is the yellowed Zambala fire puja. It's this beautiful ritual with offerings, all aimed at bringing in prosperity and good health. But what if the most important part of the whole thing has almost nothing to do with the ritual itself? Because according to this teaching, the real key to receiving anything is all about mindset over method. It's not about the ritual you're performing, it's about your state of mind. Your ability to get any kind of blessing doesn't start with what you do, but with how you see.
And here it is, the first principle, and it's a big one. You have to see the guru, the person leading the ceremony, as Zambala himself, not just as a representative, but as the deity right there in front of you. That one shift in perception changes everything. You're no longer just watching a ceremony, you're part of a divine event. And the teaching doesn't pull any punches here. It says, if you fail to see the guru as Zambala, then you will only get less than 10% of the blessings. Wow. Less than 10%. That's a huge drop-off. It's such a powerful way of saying, look, your internal connection is what counts. It's not just about going through the motions.
Okay, so what about the physical stuff, the offerings themselves? People place all these different items into the fire, and it might look a bit random, but it's not at all. Each one is a specific tool, a symbolic tool for inner transformation.
So every single offering is aimed at a specific inner roadblock. For example, the black sesame seeds, they're for purifying negative actions from the past. The unbroken rice is about increasing your merit. And the wheat is to help purify illness. You can see it's this whole system for a kind of symbolic deep cleaning on the inside.
But just when you think you've got it figured out, right mindset, right offerings, the teaching throws a curveball. It basically says, okay, that's all important, but that's not the real barrier. The thing that's actually holding most people back from real prosperity, it's something much, much deeper.
And here's the heart of it, right here in this quote. The reason it is not very possible for you to become too rich is because you still didn't open your heart. The space in your heart is still very small. Think about that. The ultimate limit on what you can receive isn't out there somewhere, it's in here. It's the capacity of your own heart. If your heart is small, maybe filled with negativity or complaints, well, there's just not much room for blessings to come in.
And the teacher uses this absolutely brilliant analogy to make the point. He says your capacity for blessings is like a scooter. Yeah, a scooter. You can go to all these amazing ceremonies getting the best fuel, the blessings, but if your gas tank, your heart, is only the size of a scooter's tank, you just can't hold that much. The results are never going to be magnificent because you don't have the capacity for it.
This really lays out the two different ways you can approach this stuff. On one side, you've got what you could call spiritual materialism. That's just collecting rituals, wanting knowledge to look smart, basically chasing good luck. But then there's the real practice. And that's the tough inner work, taming your own mind, opening your heart, and, just becoming a better human being.
And all of this leads to the central revelation of the entire teaching. To really get the benefit, it's not enough to just change how you practice. You have to change the goal itself. We have to completely redefine what we mean by wealth. And believe it or not, the clues have been hiding in plain sight this whole time, right in the image of Zambala. Look closely. In his right hand, he's holding a pomegranate, a symbol of health, not a jewel. In his left, there's a mongoose that's spitting out jewels, a symbol of generosity, of giving away wealth. And around his body, he wears a snake, which is the mongoose's natural enemy. That represents mastering our own negative emotions.
So when you put it all together, these symbols give us the three pillars of true wealth. First, there's good health. That's the pomegranate. Second, there's generosity, the mongoose that's always giving. And third, there's overcoming negativity. That's mastering your anger and jealousy, the snake, so you can live in harmony.
Okay, so if the goal isn't just getting rich in the traditional sense, then what is it? Well, the teaching puts forward this incredible, profound goal, to become superhuman. But hold on, because that word means something very different here. See, a superhuman here isn't someone with superpowers like flying or reading minds. Not at all. It's someone who has become profoundly, compassionately more human than an ordinary person. Someone who is more kind, more patient, just more good-hearted. The super part is about the depth of their humanity.
And this quote just nails it. If you want to fly, maybe you should pray to an eagle. To truly practice Dharma, practice to be a good human being. It's so direct. Chasing magical powers is a complete distraction. The real work, the hard work, the most valuable work, is just practicing how to be a good person.
So when you boil it all down, the greatest practice is always internal. The real goal isn't about getting more money, more luck, more stuff. It's about growing more. It's about expanding your heart so you have a bigger capacity to hold blessings and, more importantly, to be a source of good for others.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Maybe the greatest blessing you can ever get isn't something you receive from the outside, but who you become on the inside. What do you think? Thanks so much for joining me for this.